Hi guys, we're just about to start day 3 of the fence building. We got a ton done yesterday, but I'm going to take a little break from the fence building because I just got a special delivery. I'm so excited. Let's turn it around and show you. Woo! Ooh, my David Austin roses arrived. Yay! So I bought 3 David Austin bare root roses. I bought 2 for the arbor that is going on the west side of the house, which my contractor is very delayed in getting the fence up. So my roses are here and I have no place to put them because my arbor isn't up. So I think I'm just gonna plant them in some big pots for now and just to plant them when the fence comes up. I'm a little disappointed about that. So those were 2 climbers. Those were the James, let me read it to make sure I get the name right. The James Galway climber. I will post a picture up so you can see what they look like. I believe, I can't remember now because I ordered them so long ago. I think it's a soft pink. It's either pink or white. So I have 2 of those, and I also bought a shrub rose, an Emily Bronte, and I'll put a picture up. I was planning on putting the Emily Bronte somewhere in my front garden here near my front walkway. They're supposed to be really, really fragrant, and I would love, like, when people come to my house, that they have that nice rose fragrance. So let me take a look at what's inside the box. Let me turn the camera down so you guys can see. Okay guys, so I did already open it, but first of all, it comes with this great little planting guide, and it kind of just gives you hints on how to actually treat your bare root roses when you get them. So apparently what you have to do is they suggest that you rehydrate them in a bucket of water for at least 2 hours prior to planting, and then it just shows you how to plant it into the ground. So I'll probably only be planting in the ground the Emily Bronte today, although I'm still really not sure where I'm going to put it. The other 2 I'm going to have to put in a bucket. It also gives you some rose care information like feeding, deadheading, mulching, how to prune, what to do the first year, what to do the second year. It's actually pretty helpful. Then it has by region, what region you were in, what to do when. Obviously, I'm in the Northeast. So in the Northeast, it says March and April, spring pruning. April, first feed and mulch. May, spray when canopy of fresh green leaves has appeared. June, July, and August, you're going to give the second feed in June, July after the first flush of flowers. And then you're going to spray before the fall flush of flowers. Obviously watering and deadheading the whole time. In November and February, let your roses go into dormancy for the winter. So I think this is kind of like an easy kind of guide to rose care. So let's go ahead and look at what we have in the package. I've never bought bare root roses before, but you know, these David Austin roses are pretty expensive. I bought my Generous Gardener that's on my trellis in my vegetable garden out of a nursery, and I feel like it was like $60 maybe. I mean, it has done wonderfully amazing. It's amazing. But people, I think I paid, oh God, I don't know, less than that, maybe 35, 40. Oh, these look so good, guys. Oh my gosh, they're huge. I'm gonna gently take them out of the bag. Can you see what I'm doing? They already have buds on them. They're very wet. They're in this plastic bag. Holy, this is gorgeous. You can't even see the whole thing because look at all the green with the buds. Can you see that? The buds all over it. Which one is this? Oh, this is a James Galway. So this is one of the climbers. But look at the root system. Oh my God, I'm so excited. That's one. Very gently set it down there. What else do we got here? Let's see. This one, oh, is the other James Galway. This is a little smaller, but still healthy. It's got buds on, it's got little shoots coming up. Can you see that? It's kind of hard to see. And look at the roots. Awesome. So those are my 2 climbers. I'm gonna have to plant those in some big pots just to hold them over until my fence is done. And then one more. This should be Emily Bronte. Let's see how it looks. It's very muddy and dirty. Yep, Emily Bronte. Oh, I'm so excited, guys! Look at the roots! And look at the crown. Looks really good. There's buds. Look at all the buds on it. Oh my God, I can't wait to plant this. Oh my God, it's gonna be so gorgeous. So gorgeous. So I'm gonna go get a bucket of water to put these in so they don't get dehydrated. As you can see from the bag they were in, it's very moist. There's still water in the bottom, so they weren't like totally dried out. And what I did was I just got 2 5-gallon buckets, and I have the Emily Bronte in one, and I have the 2 James Galway in the other. And I'm just gonna set my timer on my phone for 2 hours at least, and then go back to working on the fence. But first I gotta figure out where I'm gonna plant these. Ugh, I never have a plan. So originally I was gonna put my Emily Bronte right here, somewhere in here. But some of my annuals that I planted last year are coming up. And now that I've been reading a little bit more about the plant, it gets larger than, at least in my area, it gets larger than stated on the David Austin website. I think it said like, I'll have to, if I'm wrong, I'll put it on the bottom, but I think it says it gets no bigger than 4 by 4. But after doing some research, I found that in my area, it does tend to get bigger. So obviously that is not a big enough space. So what I've decided to do is make this bed right here bigger. And then I'm gonna plop the rose like right in the center. I really want that rose to be like a centerpiece and to smell that fragrance as you walk into the front of my house. And just another thing I'm gonna say about annuals. We had such a mild winter. I wish I didn't rip out any of my annuals last fall, because the ones I left in the ground are all coming back. I could have saved myself a lot of money. Like, it's kind of hard to see, but this is my lemon coral sedum. It's all growing back, and I have 4 plants here. Over here, I have mealy cup sage, like they were all right here. And the ones that I left in, I left a couple of them in, like just the little stubs, I cut them back, all growing back. So, I'm kicking myself, removing the annuals. But I'm gonna get going on this, and you guys can watch me. It's not my favorite chore to remove sod, and I'm not really good at it, but I'll give it my best. I'm trying to conserve as much as the soil as I can, because this is really nice topsoil in this sod. And my yard is basically a sandbar, so that's why you see me trying to shake out the sod and save some of the soil. That's good. We're gonna reuse this sod someplace else. Mr. Hubby said he could use it somewhere, so I'm gonna try to take it out in as big pieces as I can so he can reuse it somewhere. But in the meanwhile, I'm gonna shake out as much of this nice topsoil as I can. That wasn't very successful. Guys, I'm about halfway done, and I'm winded, and I'm sweating. It's very hard work to remove sod, but I'm not giving up. I'm just gonna stop and get a beverage, and I'll be right back. Guys, that was brutally hard. I am covered in dirt. The rose is still soaking. That took me about 20 minutes. Felt like a lot longer than that. Unless, did I stop the camera when I got a drink? I don't know. Could have been 20 minutes, could have been 40. I'm not sure. I think it was more like 40. Now I'm going to decide where I'm going to put the rose. All that to plant one rose bush. So Emily Bronte is supposed to stay small, like 3.5 feet by 3.5 feet, tall and wide. But I did do some reading that some of the ones that are grafted in this country, whatever the rootstock is, they tend to get quite a bit bigger. So I certainly don't want my rose coming into my walkway, scratching people as they're walking by. So I'm going to go ahead and measure my space, and I'm going to, not centered in the bed, I'm going to push it a little bit more towards the grass and away from the walkway, just in case it does outgrow its space, it's not scratching people, and I won't have to prune it back into a weird shape to keep it from scratching people. Although Emily Bronte does not have a lot of thorns on it. It's a beautiful rose. I'll try to post some pictures of it. It's like a soft pastel pink that has a little bit of peach in the center and a little bit of yellow, believe it or not, in the back of the leaf. Very, very pretty. It opens pretty wide, 3.5 to 4 inches and flat. Very fragrant, and it's supposed to be one of the healthier ones. So we'll see. It does fade to almost like a cream colored. So I think it's going to be lovely. I can't wait to put it in. So now I'm just going to kind of measure my space, decide where I'm going to put it, and then dig the hole. And then I'll show you how I'm going to plant it. So obviously I'm going to have to clean up my edge because when I took out the sod, I just destroyed the edge. And I have to watch where I'm walking because I have all sorts of plants coming up. So I'm kind of tiptoeing through the tulips. Only older people will get that reference. Good old Tiny Tim. I'm going to use this planter as a reference point. So, whoa, I almost dropped it. I think maybe I'll move it over just a little bit more. I put it right there. That will give me about 2.5 feet. So that way, if the plant gets 5 feet wide, it can get 5 feet wide before it hits the walkway. And on this side, I have 2 feet. That's where I'm going to put it. So that's where I'm going to, let me just step back and take a look. That way it'll be kind of 2 feet all the way around. I think that's good right there. I'm going to put it right there. So now I'm going to dig the hole. For bare root roses, you want to dig a hole that's 16 inches wide and 16 inches deep. I'm going to start way out here. It's about 8 inches. You'll see how sandy my soil is in a second. And I just hope I don't hit any sprinkler heads. This is much better so far digging than my perennial bed. You know how terrible it is out there. So I really have to amend my soil so much because you can see the sand is coming now. See the color? Let me get you a little closer. You hear the banging in the background? That's Mr. Hubby working on the rabbit fence. He's putting up the 3-foot tall part, and I'm going around and putting up the fence that's the skirt. So essentially, we are putting up 2 fences all the way around our yard. I'm hitting something there. Let me check the width on that. Wow, that was a pretty good guess. Look at that, 16 inches. Wow, not bad. Oh, shoot. I'm hitting, looks like a sprinkler line maybe. I gotta be careful of that. Hope I didn't cut it. That's a very thick sprinkler line. Looks like a conduit of some kind. It's gotta be the sprinkler. It's very deep for a sprinkler line. Is that? Oh, I wonder if that's the electrical conduit for my light post. I have to ask Mr. Hubby because there's two big black pipes, one on top of the other. I gotta be careful here. Ah, there we go. That's a good size one. But what it says to do is after you dig down 16 inches, let's measure. You want to take a pitchfork or something and loosen all the soil even deeper. Almost. See how it's all sand? It's crazy. So I just ran to the store and I bought some planting mix to fill this hole so it gets a good start. Okay, guys. I got my hole dug to about 18 inches pretty much. I want to show you the soil that's down here. It's not soil. It's pure sand. Remember when I said I live on a sandbar? I truly do. The thing about sand, which is nice, is that it does allow, it's good drainage. But the other bad part is that all your good nutrients get washed out very easily. So I always have to amend. So let me go get the soil that I bought and fill the hole. Before I do that, actually, I'm just going to take a pitchfork and loosen the bottom of the hole so the roots have a very easy pathway to dig in. So let me get my pitchfork. I'm not gonna make it any deeper, but I am gonna just loosen the soil a little bit. Trying to avoid, who knows, I have 2 conduits for the sprinkler system and 1 conduit for the electrical that goes to the box for the sprinkler system. Good. And I'll have you know, with all this digging, all the removing of the sod, I only found 2 grubs. So I was happy with that. Let me get the soil. Okay, I'm using this Fafford outdoor planting mix. Just want to show you the difference. Here's the planting mix. Here's my soil. Just a little different, right? So I'm going to put a bunch of this in the bottom of the hole. To that, I'm going to put a handful of Espoma Rose Tone fertilizer. I'm so weird because I actually like the smell of fertilizer. I'm just do 2 handfuls in the hole. Just like that. Pew! You really probably shouldn't breathe that in. And then I'm going to mix it up a little bit. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to mix some of my native soil with the Fafford planting mix, a little bit of rose town in a bucket, so when I'm backfilling the rows, I can use that soil instead of the sand. Some of my native soil, some of this good soil, mix it all together, mix in some rose tone, and let's get this beautiful grows in the ground. So on the planting instructions, it said to plant the rose 2 inches below the crown. So you plant it kind of deep, I guess. So I'm gonna be very careful of the roots. Kind of hard to tell 2 inches below the ground. I can't imagine the faces I'm making on this video. The struggle is real. I have a feeling there's gonna be a lot of editing. Just making sure it's straight. Oops, grub number 3. Oh, grub number 4. Shoot, I spoke too soon when I said I didn't find grubs. Now I'm looking for more. Thank goodness I had my gloves on. I'm not a fan of gloves. So at the bottom of this bag, of this bucket, there was some of my native sandy soil, and I just keep adding a little bit of that and a handful of rose tone to it. This plant can take part shade. My location is pretty full on sun, but just if someone else wants to plant this plant, it can tolerate some part shade. It looks like it's planted a little bit too deep for me. I just realized you guys can't even see what I'm doing. Major fail. Let me turn the camera down. You know what? I can only laugh at myself. Seriously. That's all I can do. So this was a 1 cubic yard, I believe. 1 cubic yard. 1 cubic foot of soil. And I used the whole thing for 1 plant. Now I have to shovel up all this dirt, all this sandy dirt, and cut it away somewhere. I'll just cover it a little bit with that. Just gonna ferment it a little bit with my foot. Not too much, but I'm second guessing myself, guys. Please be okay. I want you to grow, beautiful plant. And I didn't even put you in the middle of the hole. I'm hoping I didn't plant it too deep, guys. Let me get the hose and water it in now. I did open another bag of this planting mix. Backfill it just a little bit more. Okay guys, so all I have to do is now pot up my 2 James Galway climbers. My trellis that was supposed to be in is not in yet. So I'm gonna pot them up in these pots just for now, and when my fence gets put in, I will then transplant them to the proper place. I'm a little doubtful about my fence guy. He's been dragging his feet a little bit. So if push comes to shove, I'll just find another place for these 2 roses. I'm certainly not going to let them stay in the pots for very long. So what I'm going to do is the same thing I did in the hole. I'm just going to use some planting mix, a little rose tone, and then plant them up, give them a water, and set them aside somewhere safe where the bunnies can't get to them, although I think they're pretty safe in the buckets, but that's what I'm going to do now. Little rose tone mixed in. And let's set our first baby. These have been soaking. Set that baby in. Just make sure you tuck all the roots down so none of the roots are, getting into the air. I kind of like to spread the roots all around the planting hole too, or the bucket in this case, so they're not all facing in one direction. This is not in the middle of the bucket, but that's because there's a lot more long roots on the other side. Good thing I bought 3 bags of this, guys. So make sure it's straight. That's one down. I will water it in. This one has really thick roots. Not 100% ideal. I wish I was putting these in the ground. But it is what it is. You know what? I'm going to move them to where I want them and then water them in. Okay, guys. So the Emily Bronte is planted right there. I am not the best at edging, so Mr. Hubby will come and clean this up and make it look better. I'm not very good at it. The other 2, James Galway, I put in those 2 black buckets right there. They're all potted up. I'm going to end this for today. We still have probably day 4 on the fence at the very least. Mr. Hubby was working on his portion this whole time I was planting the roses, but now I have to go do my portion, which will probably take me a couple more days. So till the next time.